Now I am talking about the colored contact lenses. Now these colored contact lenses are actually having a tint. Colored tints are there, and they are useful when we have to make the eyes look very vivid, very attractive. You have to change the color of the eyes. So there can be different purpose, maybe to hide any cosmetic blemish, or anybody wants. Nowadays I have even seen the brides using the contact lenses matching which is going with their outfit. Like beauty clinics are using the colored cosmetic this contact lenses for their cosmetic purpose. So this is again a big branch. Even those people who are going in the field of artificial eyes, so one big thing that they have to do is they have to do their expertise in these colored contact lenses. So we have got different colors. Can you see different kinds? You can relate it with the kind of a tattooing also. Corneal tattooing, you can do it nowadays. Like tattoo art is again very, very popular. So even with the eyes we can try it, like the corneal tattooing we can try it. So we have got different kind of things there. Okay, now we come to the extended wear contact lenses. So what do you mean by extended wear contact lenses? This is actually a new technology where we are using extended wear contact lenses, and these are made up of silicone. So this again is an important MCQ, that the extended wear contact lenses are made up of silicone. And why I am saying it is extended, you can wear up actually these lenses for up to 30 days without removing. So you can wear them extensively without removing them, and that is for 30 days. So that is the another important MCQ, that the extended wear contact lenses can be used for the extended time, that is up to 30 days. Now we will be coming on multifocal contact lenses. So I already told you that when we have the bifocal contact lenses, we were having just the two focus. One was for the distance and one was for the near. Now here we have got so many focuses. Okay, so this is actually obviously much more expensive, giving you many more focal lengths, and they are available in disposable form. So those who are cranky about the little lens, they have to see, they have to be very, very clear in every distance correction, intermediate correction, short correction, near correction. They can go for this multifocal IOLs, right? Now we come to the indications of the contact lenses as a whole. Why actually we require the contact lenses? So can you see there are so many indications. One is your optical indications, where basically we are doing it for the refractive purpose. For the refractive purposes, this is optical. Second is your therapeutic. If you remember, when we were discussing about the corneal transplantation, keratoplasty, there also one was your refractive purpose and one was your therapeutic. So suppose there is so much of load over the cornea and you have to replace it, or you require it for the therapeutic when we have like impending perforations. In the cases of the impending perforations, so there we require the band-aids of contact lenses. Then we have the preventive contact lenses. We have got diagnostic contact lenses. I will be giving you examples when you apply the electrodes over the contact lenses. That time we are using the contact lenses, so that will be called as a diagnostic contact lenses. Then we have the operative contact lenses, cosmetic I have already told you, and then we have the occupational contact lenses. So I think this is a major big important thing, that what all reasons we require the contact lenses. Now first we'll go for the optical optical indications. What can be the different indications as far as your refractive errors are concerned where you require to fit this contact lenses? The first important thing is your anisometropia. What do you mean by anisometropia? Iso actually means same. Iso means same, aniso means not same, so that means different. Metropia is meaning to say the refractive error. So that means if we have the different refractive error in both the eyes, okay, then we should not use the spectacles. So here I'm not speaking about just a little difference, 0.51. So when I have high difference of the refractive power in the two eyes. So when the difference between the refractive error of the two eyes is really high, then this is called as anisometropia, and you know anisometropia can lead to anisoconia. Anisoconia. What is anisoconia? This is your difference in the image size. So you tend to get the difference in the image size also of both the eyes, and when we have a difference in the image size, dissimilar images won't fuse, and therefore what we can have is the diplopia. So at that time we actually prefer the contact lenses. This is one. Now the second thing, if I have unilateral aphakia. Now again the concept is similar. If you know one eye is your normal eye and the other eye is having aphakia, now what will happen? Aphakic eye has the high degree of hypermetropia. And what is the power? Power becomes plus 40 diopters. Approximately it becomes plus 40 diopters, because you know what power of the lens I am giving usually in aphakia, like plus 20 diopter, 21, 26, something like this. So a high degree of hypermetropia. So what happens? Again there is anisometropia. So this is also leading to the anisometropia, and again therefore I am preferring the contact lenses. Then I have the third important thing, high myopia. So again if I have the high myopia, high amount of myopia, so what is happening? Here again the amount of anisometropia which is expected is more. It's not necessary that the person has the symmetrical amount of high myopia. It can be -6 and -9 in other. So we can have high degree of anisometropia, and we know that what amount of anisometropia is best tolerated. So if I talk about best tolerated is up to 2.5 diopter anisometropia, because you know 1 diopter will lead to a difference of 2% in image size. 1 diopter will lead to 2% in image size. 2.5 diopter will lead to 5%, and it is this 5% image size which is best tolerated. This is best tolerated. So you know that this is the maximum that our eyes can fuse, the difference of up to 5%. So that means I cannot tolerate more than 2.5 diopter anisometropia, and that is why when we have very high degree of anisometropia due to unilateral aphakia, due to the high myopia, again I will prefer the contact lenses. Then the next is your fourth, that is your keratoconus. In the keratoconus again I require this. Now this is again very important. The keratoplasty that we were doing in cases of keratoconus was also optical, and the contact lenses that you are giving is again the optical. They are not therapeutic. Why? Because we want to correct the astigmatism by replacing the anterior surface of the cornea. I must say this is very important. And similar to this is in any type of irregular astigmatism. So Apart from the keratoconus, there can be other reasons also which can be causing the astigmatism. So all of these will again requiring the optical indication for the contact lenses. Now talking about the advantages over the spectacles. So though you already know, I think there are so many advantages of the contact lenses over the spectacles. Let's see some of the important ones. Now the first important thing is that the contact lenses can correct even the irregular astigmatism, which is again a very big limitation in case of spectacles. In the spectacles you can correct the spherical errors, you can correct the regular astigmatism, but obviously in cases of irregular astigmatism where you have uneven refractive surface, so there obviously giving the spectacles will not help it much, so we will have to replace this refractive surface. Now we can replace this refractive surface either by giving the contact lenses, or the ultimate we can do the keratoplasty. So first important thing. Number two, when you are using the spectacles, your field of vision is obviously limited. Okay, so this will not help those people who require the extended field of vision. It can be sports people maybe. Okay, so for that reason also we can use the contact lenses which will give us the full field of vision. Then coming to the third one. Now this I personally feel is very, very important. When we are using these spectacles, a number of aberrations are expected. What aberrations? If you look here, the first one, this is your undistorted pattern. So if the person is not having any astigmatism, or if he is not using the spectacles, he will be having this one. But if he is using the spectacles, we can have an effect of pin cushion distortion. This is your pin cushion distortion like this. This is because of the thick prismatic effect of the convex lenses. And then we can also have the effect of barrel distortion. Barrel distortion is like this. This is your barrel distortion. So how to imagine it clinically? So clinically, if you see here, this is your original, this one is your original, and this one is your barrel distortion. Can you see the difference between the two? Can you see here? See, this is your original one, and can you see here? This is going something like this. So this is your barrel distortion. See, let's see one more time. See here, this is your original one, then is your barrel distortion. It is going like this. And if you see the pin cushion distortion is in the concave manner. So these distortions are actually not there, these aberrations are not there. It can be your spherical aberrations, and it can be the chromatic aberrations also. It can be the spherical aberrations also, it can be your chromatic aberrations also, they are not there. Then another important thing is that even when the person has high anisometropia, which can lead to the anisoconia, and therefore fusion is not there, in contact lenses you can have that binocular vision. The binocular vision is actually possible with the help of the contact lenses, but it is not with the spectacles. No condensation. Now those of you use the glasses, I am sure that you will be able to correlate it, that those of you are using the spectacles, we have a problem in the rain or a fog, even when there is a lot of rain outside and we are there in the cars. So what happens? There is a lot of mist over your spectacles, and every time you will have to clean it. So that is again cumbersome. And obviously cosmesis is a great problem. Nobody wants wants to wear the spectacles, and every time I take the classes and after the class there is one question, ma'am, how can we remove the spectacles? Or even at the clinics also, people are very like readily asking you these questions. They are like fearful and apprehensive. They don't want, they are reluctant also in using the spectacles. Now we come to the therapeutic indications. So whenever we are using the contact lenses in order to treat some disease, we are not interested in its refractive part, we are interested in giving it as a medicine, then it is a therapeutic indication. So this can be as a part when you have some diseases of the cornea, diseases of the iris, when we have glaucoma. In the glaucoma, what happens? We have the pigment dispersion over the cornea. That is why you have to change it. Maybe the person is having myopia, or maybe in cases of the impending perforation. When we have the impending perforation, then we can again use the Bandage Soft contact lenses to provide more of the moisture content, which will help in healing. These Bandage Soft contact lenses are also used in the metaherpetic keratitis. I hope you remember what is metaherpetic keratitis. When you are like seeing the stages of your herpes simplex virus. In the herpes simplex virus, what are the stages that we are getting? First, we are getting your dendritic ulcer, epithelial. Then we get the stromal, that is your disky form. And in the third, we are getting this metaherpetic. In this metaherpetic, we do not have the active ulcer. Rather, it is just a healing defect. So when it is occurring just as a healing defect, there we do not require the acyclovir, we do not require the steroids, we require the artificial tear supplements along with the Bandage Soft contact lenses. Now coming to the preventive indications. What do you want to prevent actually? So preventive indications is prevention of the Symblepharon and restoration of furnaces in the chemical burns. If you remember, I had recorded a separate video on the chemical burns. There also I told you that what happens in the chemical burns, the areas becomes raw, and there is a lot of risk factor here that the adhesion of the two surfaces will take place. Do you remember what is Symblepharon? Symblepharon means that there is actually adhesion of the bulbar and the palpebral conjunctiva. So if I want to prevent this, so when I am seeing any case of chemical burn, after treating it, I can put one contact lenses so that there is no risk of adhesion of the these raw surfaces of the conjunctiva, and there is no Symblepharon. Right? Then there can be exposure keratitis. Now think about the neuroparalytic keratitis. If I have the neuroparalytic keratitis, or we have the Bell's palsy, what happens? In cases of this, there is the facial nerve. There is a facial palsy, and facial nerve actually supplies the orbicularis oculi, and this muscle helps in closure of the eyelids. So if there is the paralysis of this facial nerve, what will happen? The muscle will be paralyzed. Facial nerve is a motor nerve, and the person is not able to close the eyelids properly, due to which the person will have this exposure keratitis. Then we can have the trichiasis. What is trichiasis? It is the inward turning of the eyelid margins and rubbing of the eyelashes over the cornea. Now, if there is rubbing of the eyelashes over the cornea, they will keep on abrading the anterior surface. This can lead to corneal abrasions, and this corneal abrasions we will have the risk of infection. We will have the risk of infection, and that is why even in trichiasis, now where trichiasis, you can see a very important cause, if you remember, is a trachoma. So in cases of trachoma, when you are giving like rehabilitation there, you can again provide the contact lenses so that you can prevent the eyes from getting these abrasions and the complications, because you know the only complication of the trachoma is the corneal ulcer. So I hope you have understood the basic idea of the contact lenses, as well as the main two indications, that is your optical indications as well as the therapeutic indications. Now coming to the diagnostic indications of the contact lenses. So what all purpose we are using these contact lenses for making some of the diagnosis. So we can use it in the gonioscopy. Now what happens? When you are doing the gonioscopy, we are using the gonioscopes, the 3 mirror gonioscopes, the 4 mirror gonioscopes. There we are using the contact lenses. So those contact lenses which are used here, they will be called as diagnostic contact lenses. Similarly, when we are doing the ERG, the electroretinography. So when we have to place the electrodes, again we are using the contact lenses. Again in the ERG we are using. Now if you remember in EOG also, in EOG also we have to apply the electrodes, but there we are not using them, because you know what is happening there, we are using the charge which is present on the cornea and the negative charge present on the macula. So there we apply the electrodes on the canthus, one here, one on the lateral canthus, and then we are applying the 2 electrodes on the what you called as the reference electrodes. One is applied here and one is applied here. So basically we are using the electrodes for the contact lenses in cases of ERG. Then we have got the examination of the fundus. If you want to examine the fundus in cases of irregular corneal astigmatism, so if you are using the normal cornea which is present in the person, it becomes difficult to visualize the fundus because you are not able to adjust the power there. So what we can do, we can use the contact lenses, and through that you can see the fundus there. Then the fundus photography. Nowadays, you know, there are so many advancements in the technology. So when we are using the fundus photography, there also we are using the contact lenses. And then we have the Goldman's 3 mirror examination. There also we are using the contact lenses. So I think this is again a high thing, because there are so many places where you are using the diagnostic contact lenses, and they can use a question which is all except type. They can ask you that all of the places require the use of contact lenses, except where do you require the contact lenses, which is a therapeutic indication, which is your optical indication, which is your diagnostic indication, which is the preventive indication. All these sort of things could be used. Now coming to the operative indications, where do you require the contact lenses for the purpose of doing the surgeries? So this is your operative indications, and one very important here is the goniotomy operation. Goniotomy operation you were doing for the ophthalmos, that is congenital glaucoma. Then we have vitrectomy. Vitrectomy like we do in cases of children also, when we are doing the SCCE with anterior vitrectomy, lensectomy with the anterior vitrectomy, and also for the endoocular photocoagulation. If you want to do the photocoagulation inside, then again you cannot use your probe over the direct cornea. There also we are using the contact lenses. Okay. Now finally, last but not the least is your cosmetic indications. So in the cosmetic indications, what could be there if a person is having some scar which is unacceptable to him or her, or maybe there is a ptosis So for that purpose, we can use to lift that upper lid, or we can use in cases of the phthisis bulbi. These are actually basically not the contact lenses for the cornea, these are the scleral lenses. So because what happens when there is a phthisis bulbi, eye will be sunken, very small, shrunken. So in that case, we are using the artificial prosthetic, that will be your scleral lenses. Then we have occupational indications. I think this is one indication that you could tell me better. Look at the Shah Rukh Khan using the blue lenses. In the Krish movie, you must have seen Hrithik Roshan using the lenses. In every other films, like heroines and stars are using the lenses. So we can be giving them to sports persons, to the pilots, to the actors. Can you see? This is your there. So obviously this is self-explanatory. This is called as occupational indications, a type of cosmetic indications only. Now, more than the indications, you should know about the contraindications also, because you should be prepared that where it can cause a problem and try to avoid these conditions where they are contraindicated. So let's see the contraindications. In the contraindications, one is your mental incompetence or poor motivation. You should not prescribe the contact lenses, should not give the contact lenses when the person is not motivated, he is not ready mentally, he is incompetent to take it. Otherwise, it will cause a problem. Then second important thing is your chronic dicryocystitis. See, this is a infective condition. So already in the contact lenses, you have got a lot of risk of the infection. So we should never take chance, and we should not do the contact lenses trial even in cases of chronic dicryocystitis. Then be it any other infective condition, it can be like blepharitis also, it can be recurrent stye. So whether it's a lid infection, it's eyelid margin infection, it's a lacrimal sac infection, it can be a conjunctival infection, you should not give it. Then we can have the dry eye syndrome. So in dry eye syndrome, we are not giving the contact lenses. Why? Because contact lenses is also preventing somehow the contact. So that unless you are using the Band-Aid soft contact lenses. So that is why if you are giving, that will increase the friction, and it is increasing the friction, it can cause the superficial punctate keratitis. So therefore there also it is contraindicated. Then if I talk about the other problems in the cornea itself, if the cornea is already having some other problem, it can be dystrophies, it can be degenerations, or there are certain inflammatory conditions, can be episcleritis, scleritis, iridocyclitis, then also we should not go for the contact lenses. So in short, I can say that any anterior segment pathology. So what is a must before giving the contact lens trial? I will say slit lamp examination. Definitely go for the slit lamp examination. See if there is any problem with the cornea, with the iris, with the conjunctiva, episclera, sclera, uveal tract, tear film, any infections. So all these three things should be always searched for and should be looked for, assessed with the help of slit lamp, and only then you should go for the contact lens trial. Contact lens tip. Now this is a very important statutory warning. You can say that you have to make sure that the lenses aren't inside out. So this is a very common problem which can actually occur, and if you are not careful, you are doing this, then that can again cause a great trouble. So always remember that your contact lenses are not inside out. Then finally we come to the complications of the contact lens use. What can be the expected things which you can actually tell to your patient? You have to do the counseling of the patient, because every time you are giving something which can lead to the complications, the warning signs and signals, when should he or she refer to the ophthalmologist, when he should or she should stop wearing the contact lenses, when he or she can continue with the contact lenses, should always be told. So what are the things? So they can be divided into two things. One is your conjunctival complications and second is your corneal complications. So in cases of conjunctival complications, we can have different kind of conjunctivitis. First is the allergic conjunctivitis, Then we have the giant papillary conjunctivitis, and then we have superior limbic keratoconjunctivitis. So there are actually three kind of conjunctivitis which can occur. You can remember it with the gas conjunctivitis. G for giant papillary, A for allergic, and S for superior limbic keratoconjunctivitis. These are the kind of conjunctivitis that can occur with the use of the contact lenses. Now we come to the corneal complications. Corneal complications, again, because you know they are in direct contact with the cornea. Now though cornea is actually avascular, and that is, I think, a plus point that you are using it, but still there are many things that can occur in the cornea if you are using these contact lenses. Like if I start with the epithelium, so if you remember how many layers were there in the cornea, we were having the 6 layers. So one was your epithelium, then we were having the Bowman membrane, then we were having the stroma, pre-Descemet's membrane, Descemet's membrane, and endothelium. Now this is actually the easy way of remembering all the things that can happen in the cornea. So right from epithelium, there can be edema. There can be edema or there can be cyst formation, right? Then you can also have the abrasions. Whenever abrasions will take place, this will be taking place in the superior most layer. So this will again take place in the epithelium. Then we can have, if you are going deeper, I can have the infiltration can be there. There can be infiltration. Then I can have the neovascularization. I can have the corneal ulcers. Corneal ulcers can go way back to the stroma, to the pre-Descemet's, even Descemet's. So that can lead to impending perforation, even that can go to the frank perforation. So the infiltrates, the abrasions, the edema, the microcyst, the keratitis, neovascularization, and finally I can have the changes in the endothelium. So see, you have written everything without like mugging it up. Now the things which are related to the contact lens itself, they can be a physical damage to the contact lens, they can be staining, there can be discoloration, there can be deposits. So you know you have to be very particular about the hygiene of the contact lenses. Don't take it for granted that it is disposable. Maybe it is disposable after 15 days. So you are not taking any care of those contact lenses till 15 days. You have to be very cautious, and as we take bath, we do the daily cleaning. You have to do the daily cleaning of the contact lenses. There is always a great risk of infection, and you know overwear syndrome can occur. So in a separate video I'll plan someday in which I will be talking about the overwear syndrome, how to prevent it, what will be the complications and the treatment. But today my sole purpose was to cover the contact lenses as a whole, so that you get to know actually the A to Z about the contact lenses, like how do we name them, what are the basic size, what are the curves, what all are the purposes and indications that we can use it, what are the complications and contraindications of contact lenses. So in case of any doubt, you people can always ping me up. You can follow me on Instagram. I am there on the Facebook. You can also refer to my Facebook page and the Facebook group. Okay, then you can get the benefit of daily quiz that we are running on our Telegram group and Telegram channels. And if you like the video, please do like the video, share the video amongst your colleagues, your friends, and those of you feel that will benefit from this. And also do subscribe to my channel so that you get the latest notification of all the videos. In the comment section, please do let me know that how is it helping you. I'll really look forward to your feedback, and thank you for all those lovely comments that you send me on the different platforms. I am really happy and humbled for all those wishes, and really look forward getting more of them. Please do let me know what all are the other topics that you want to make the video on. Keep learning, keep working hard, stay safe, stay healthy. Happy ophthalmology.